From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. And for the first time in ages, I can say Ollie's taking a day off.
Why is he taking a day off?
Do you know what? I haven't even fucking had anything prepared for why he's taking a day off.
Do you know what? I wasn't going to say anything, but fuck it, we're here now. I might as well. All I know is half an hour ago, right, he FaceTimed me. And I assumed it was just going to be like, oh, Rich, you coming on the show tonight, what we're going to talk about, that sort of thing. And all I got, mate, was him running through an alleyway with a bra on, screaming his head off, whilst two ladyboys, completely naked, were chasing him, screaming for their money. Now, I've not heard from Ollie since. I can only hope he's okay. But we'll update you as we go on.
I'm happy the fact that he was running away from people rather than people running away from him. Like usually what happens, especially when there's ladyboys involved, is that Ollie finds them, they go quiet, he does what he needs to do, and then he leaves. It's not good for anybody. But anyway, those with sharp ears will realise that tonight we have Richard from the Great British National Strike. Even I don't even know why I forgot the national thing. It's not like you don't have it on a massive.
You know what, mate? It's my fucking fault. I don't know why it couldn't just be the Great British Strike. Why is it British and national at the same time? What a weirdo! Like, what am I doing?
But thanks for coming on, mate. And it's like, and the fact that Ollie's gone ladyboy hunting. It's just
he's now become the hunted. That's what shocked me. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen him scared.
Is he ever really the hunter? You've heard of playing possum, haven't you? That he'll just run down a dark alley, and then the next thing is he turns round. He's like covered in fucking Vimto and Nutella, and a massive hard on, and that's when
Surprise!
He strikes. So how have you been anyway?
All right, mate. Yeah. Sound. I've had a couple of days off. Been planning stuff, obviously, for phase 2.
Reptilian, not reptilian confirmed.
No, but we're pretty much there now. So, I mean, as far as we've got a charity set up now as well, we're doing that. But yeah, phase 2 is pretty much done. We're just
finally people can start calling you a grifter.
Oh, mate, no, it's still happening. It's still fucking happening, mate. I'm in my overdraft. I'm in my fucking overdraft. That money's gone, mate. It's going on stages and fucking setting the charity up and all. We just sent flyers out, right? Just to Dover. It's every 4th letterbox in Dover because we're like, the people in Dover must be fed up, hopefully, right? Now, to send flyers out to every 4th letterbox in Dover, bearing in mind, there's not that many houses in Dover. $4,500.
That's mental.
For flyers. So, yeah, they keep calling me a grifter, but it is what it is.
I can't wait till the Guardian get hold of that statistic. So you've delivered to one every 4 houses in Dover. Guardian will hear that, and the next thing you know is there will be an article saying 1 in 4 people in Dover racist.
Yeah, mate, we could be starting something here. I just hope someone fucking turns up, mate, because some of the cities that we had last time were diabolical. Some of them were mint, but others were just, yeah. I just hope people turn up. Are you coming? Oh no, you're like on the nipple end of the UK, aren't you?
Not even on the UK. I'm on the Isle of Man.
Oh yeah, you are.
There's fucking sea in between us. Do you know what? I wanted to come to it, but I'm away like the week before, so I need to work. Like I'm going to be away doing some stuff, and I've got to come back because I know when we said last time, I said me and Ollie would try and get down for the next one, but I was thinking it would be like a couple of months down the road or something like that, not like next week.
Well, the problem, I know, the problem we've got is Tommy is doing one in July and September, but we can't really do August because everyone's off for the bank holiday, the school holidays.
Yeah.
But then come October, mate, no one's going to want to go out on the streets because it's cold, and you know what we're like. We all care until it's cold.
Yeah, revolution stop for the winter.
Yeah.
It's not revolution season, is it?
No, it's not.
No, I do think though, like I've been trying to keep up today with the like Grooming Gang's inquiry, and this was like to come off the back of me watching. Do you listen to the Heretics podcast?
Yes, I think it's fantastic. It's almost as good as this one.
Almost as good as this.
Almost.
One. But did you listen to the one with the doctor? I forgot what his name is now.
I know what you're going to ask.
Is it Benz? Something like that? Something Benz?
I have got it. Civil War is so. This is how far. So I've got 28 minutes left on it. Right.
Yeah.
David Betts.
Betts.
I'm going to be honest with you. Ollie sent it me the other night.
Yeah.
I'd been out with the wife. We'd had something to eat, come home, and then I was like, line up the whiskey on the shelf. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a couple of whiskeys. And then we were chatting. We were just talking. Me and Ollie were just back and forth with voice notes for a little while. I got part way through. I can remember some of it, and the rest I haven't yet watched. So
that podcast is the first podcast I've listened to that's actually scared me. Like the way he's breaking things down, like just essentially saying like this stuff spreads. So it has to happen somewhere. It will happen somewhere, and then it will spread somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help think when you've got what's going on in Ireland, when you've got the all but media blackout on it, essentially. You know, it's mentioned in hushed tones and whispers, isn't it? What's going on?
Yeah.
Then the Grooming gang scandal's coming out. If Labour could have saved themselves from all this by with just a little bit of openness at the beginning about it all. Now, actively, your top people in the Labour Party are the ones that were trying to suppress, like looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the catalyst for this stuff. I think that's going to be the catalyst. I think that's where it's going to take. And it seems to be a perfect storm. You know, you've got like Tommy being released from prison. This is happening. Then he's got his march in July.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems that this is it.
Mate. It's so scary, isn't it? Because you mentioned so a lot of people now, they look at civil war, and this is my opinion, my belief. Okay, they look at civil war now. The amount of comments I get from people saying, like, I'm too soft in what I'm doing with my approach because I'm not as sort of hardcore as Tommy. People are like, you're trying to appeal to the right wing, but you're not hardcore enough. And it's like, civil war fucking scares me, mate. And I'm being completely honest here. Yeah. Bearing in mind, I was no hero, but I was in the army for 8 years. I grew up in a very, very rough council estate. Okay. My family are very, very rough. I'm like the black sheep of the family. Any sort of like confrontation, I try and stay away from. I'm a self-confessed, I'm a coward, mate. If I can run away, I will. Okay.
You picked a terrible former job.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's I mean, I can't even hide at home now because the death threats are coming. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are like, we know you live in this area, and they're fucking right. Some of them, it is scary. Like, a lot of people don't understand what civil war is. They say stupid shit like, oh, it's us versus them. Well, all right, it's us, but who's us? And who's them?
Yeah.
And you actually ask people to break that down, and they can't come up with an answer. So for me, it's like, first of all, people saying, "Oh, we need a civil war." Well, first of all, you're insinuating that you think we're going to like automatically win. But then also, who are we? Because most of us, mate, like we've just been talking before we come on this episode, then most men in the UK now, myself included, we're not, these guys that are coming over on boats, for example, they're from really, really rough, like, how would you word it? They've had to fight their whole lives.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? They're coming from areas where they've had to be warriors to get through life. We've not had to do that.
No.
Men in the UK.
They also have a strong ideology as well.
Yeah.
That's I mean, you can say it's a dangerous thing. You can say it's a performance enhancer in this situation. But when we've systematically had everything that kind of made people think about who they are being kind of chipped away at, it's like you look at that, like talk about being an ex-serviceman. I wouldn't blame anybody that when Keir Starmer says that the UK needs to become war ready. I wouldn't blame anybody for becoming a conscientious objector for as far as going to war for the UK right now, because it is given such little back to the people for decades now, and it's taken so much away. I don't understand like where people can scrabble some national pride from anymore.
I don't think there is any, and it's been trained into us. I got a letter today from the MOD. I should have brought it upstairs. I could have showed you. And it's basically right. I mean, I left the army in 2022, 16th of June, three years ago today. Now I got a letter through the letterbox. I got a letter through the letterbox today from the MOD, just saying, just so you're aware, you are still. And basically, I'm on an on-call basis. So it lasts for. So I did 7 years. So I've got 5 years left, because you do 12 years. That's what you sign up for. Now I've never had that letter before. 3 years on, they've sent me a letter today to say, we're just checking that all your details are correct, your address is correct, and you need to send us your details for like your medical, to make sure that I'm medically fit to still be able to go off to war if I get called up. Now with everything that's going on with like Iran and Israel and stuff like that, and I mean, we've got RAF jets over there now, despite the fact that it was Israel, wasn't it? Was it Israel or Iran said, if you get involved, like we're coming after you as well? It was one of them. I can't remember.
It was Iran, I think.
Was it Iran? Yeah. Scary, mate. So yeah, they decided to send our jets out there. Brilliant. It's scary, mate. There's so much at the minute, and my first instinct was, because I've got bad knees now and I'm doing physio. Oh well, fuck it. I've got bad knees. I can't go. Only a few years ago, mate, I was signed up to the army. That was what I wanted to do. Yeah. For my country. So in the short space of just a few years, and I don't think it's just me, mate. I think so many people now, so many men, so many women, there is no pride because we haven't been allowed it for so long.
Well, I was thinking about this because there was something I was watching the other day, like where the people were blasting nationalism, and I think that's a strange thing that's twisted as well now, that nationalism has become like a subtext for, oh, you're racist if you're a nationalist.
Only if you're white British.
Well, only if you're white British. And then I thought to myself, when was the last time that Britain felt like it had national identity? And I genuinely, I think it might be when Blur and Oasis were in the charts. I think Britpop was the last stand of British nationality.
We had little. So do you remember the 2012 Olympics where like the Queen parachuted in and stuff like that? Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And there was like, there was a bit of. We've had like small little influxes of it, but it's just been fucking beaten down, mate. I think with everything that's going on at the minute, it really has. Planned? Yeah. If I ask you to repeat yourself at any point in this podcast, it's because your video keeps cutting out with the audio.
No worries.
I know you said it's fine with the listeners, but if I'm asking you, then that's why. I think it is planned. Of course it is, mate. I think Western culture in general is being systematically picked apart.
So that, I mean, that leads us down the road of like of who and what then, because there's a really interesting thing I thought, like that came up in Tommy Robinson's interview with Patrick Bet-David, I think it was, when he brought up the thing that it's how, because it's super trendy right now to go, it's the Jews, and he was the guy turning around saying, why would the Jews want to flood places where they live with someone that kind of wants to get rid of them? And I hadn't thought of that before. So I think there's so many little scapegoats that stop us getting to the bottom of like what this is. There was a thing I watched the other day talking about the. I was trying to find the actual video of it there, and I couldn't do. I could only find the clips on Timcast, so I didn't bother bringing it up. And on Tim Pool, he was talking about a video that was made about the new liberal world order that was kind of put together after the Second World War, and it was kind of the idea of like, well, we won't let another country grow to that point of like where Nazi Germany is, and it like kind of the bare bones of it sounds like a good idea. You know, like if we can stop another Germany for another Second World War, this seems like a good move. But I think at some point, this plan of like protectivism turned into globalism, and then whoever's filtered in, whether it's the children of the people that set it up or the children's children of the people that set it up, every generation that's come after it has tried to put more layers of control on this thing. And I kind of think that's what's happened now, because I don't think it's worked. I think that the plan has kind of failed. You know, everyone goes like, oh, well, what's happening now is all part of the plan. They've got everything worked out. And I think it's much more scary to think that the plan's collapsed on itself, that all these things we can see breaking out now all over the world are kind of the death throes of this world order that they were trying to put into place. And does that mean we're left with chaos now after that?
Yeah, because when a plan falls apart, those who put the plan in place, they become desperate. They become desperate and they start doing desperate things. That's the scary part for me. I don't know if that's what you were alluding to, but that's the scary part for me, because, you know, a plan is, you know, that they're going to do things incrementally. Now there's little pockets of things, and you just, mate, I can't even keep up with the news anymore. I'm trying desperately to keep up. There's so much going on at once now. It's just, and I think it is the beginnings of chaos. I think we are living in chaotic times, and that's so scary, because that's when these people who have these plans, they start getting desperate. It's like COVID. You've said it so many times. COVID didn't work. I think there was something planned there, and it didn't work. And I think a lot of what's happening now is off the back of it.
Yeah, I think twofold of things that were happening with COVID, I don't think worked, because I've got quite a unique, I think, perspective on this stuff, because as far as the COVID thing, just because I live on an island of 80,000 people, we had a 95% like vaccination rate over here. Like, it was ridiculously high. That I think sometimes it feels like there was me and maybe my postman didn't get vaccinated. And but what I see, like what I read, because it's really weird, because like when you get the like conspiracy theorists or so-called conspiracy theorists get the data which tells them how many people are dying of COVID, and they go, well, no, nobody died of COVID. Then they get the data that everybody about how many people are supposed to be dying from the vaccine, and they eat that up. They believed every single fucking word that's on that page. I don't think any of it worked. I don't think we were supposed to get our lockdowns. I don't think whatever the vaccine was or wasn't worked did anything. I don't even think it's killing the amount of people that we're supposed to believe it's killing now. I think that's part of the psyop as well, because all I can think to myself is I see these big numbers of those like vaccine injuries and vaccine deaths. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people listening to this podcast that know people that have been harmed and know people that have died. I absolutely know people that feel like they died before their time in recent memory since the vaccinations. And I also like personally know a member of my family which was injured and like clinically diagnosed as being injured from the vaccine. But that being said, on an island of 80,000 people with a 95% vaccination rate, like if those numbers were right, I should know people dropping like flies now. Do you know what I mean? And it's not happening. So I don't think any of that plan worked, and I think that's when the wheels started to fall off the whole organization.
Do you think, because have you looked into the blood clots, the
Yes.
white rubbery blood clots that keep popping up everywhere? So there are literal like medical professionals coming forward now. There are people who are going under the knife to have surgery. I can't remember her name. She was having plastic surgery, and basically it got cancelled because when they cut her open, they were like, "There's so many blood clots. We're gonna have to address that first." The people going to the morgue now, they're being cut open. You know, the autopsies and all the rest of it, and they're just full of these white rubbery blood clots. Now, is that what it was supposed to be? Was it supposed to be more lethal, or is it a plan to kill people slowly over time
I
to bring
have wondered
population
that.
down?
I just wonder how you would work that out. Like, I mean, then again, we don't know if all the vaccines were the same. But I do wonder whether this is like a slow release thing, and I'm gonna end up eating my words in like another 10 years time. But like I say, I can't help think that if it didn't work the first time, like the first part of the plan, then
That's the scary thing,
one.
that we were talking about before. Yeah, that's the scary thing. What comes next? The army tried to throw me in jail for not having the vaccine. I refused to have it. It was going to military court. Everybody had to have the vaccine. And then I think back, well, if it was something that was meant to harm people, would they want to force their military to take it? I don't know.
I know. Well, you see, this is one of my like big worries, like conspiracy wise, was the fact that they were making health service staff take it, and I thought, oh fuck, because if you make all your healthcare workers take it, and then because this is at the time as well where I still thought I still thought COVID, like, because I flip flop now on whether COVID was even a virus. Like I think I probably edge more now towards the idea that COVID wasn't actually a proper virus. It was it was manufactured. It was manufactured with fake PCR tests, and it's a cold. The symptoms were cold.
I don't think the tests were necessarily fake. I think they were calibrated. They were set up to detect modern day flu.
Yes, yeah. With the amount of cycles that had to be put through and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. It's. I mean, apparently it's still around now, but I don't know anyone who's getting it. But it was a flu. So when people say, "Oh, COVID killed my nan," it's like, okay, possibly, but your nan was 89. She'd had 4 strokes and 2 heart attacks. She was on her way out anyway, and I know it's not a nice thing to say, but getting the flu probably would have finished her off as well. So
realistically, people generally don't die of a single thing, do they? People, people their immune system's weak, and then it's 2 or 3 things take them out. And it's respiratory diseases are a really sort of final door for a lot of people. But what terrified me actually the other day was the fact that I was speaking to someone that was talking about I won't say what they were, but they were medical in the pharmaceutical and medicine industry, and they were off work, and they'd sent into their boss a picture of their COVID test to say, "Oh, I've got COVID. I'm not coming into work," even though they're supposed to come into work now with COVID, which is like it's wild how that changed.
Doesn't matter now.
Yeah. But like I said to the person who was telling me, I was like, "That's fucking terrifying." And they were like, "Why?" I said, "Because you fuckers, of all people, like if fucking like half retarded painter and decorator in the Isle of Man knows that the that we don't need to be testing for this thing, and we don't need to worry if we get it. Like if I understand that now, but you guys are fucking healthcare workers, and you're still fucking testing yourselves. that I don't understand. I can't like reconcile that.
Do you know what I don't get? Yeah. So my son, a couple of months ago, I can't remember if I told you guys or not, but he was being tested for leukemia, right? He had blood tests and that. Come back, potential leukemia. He's had more blood tests since, got the all clear, so brilliant, fantastic. But when we went in to get the results, we sat down and the first thing that the doctor said was, right, okay, so is he fully vaccinated? And I'm like, come on, let's get to the fuck. Outside, still in the doctors, in our local doctors, there's still signs up and like a specialist little part of the surgery for getting your COVID vaccine. And I'm like, the documentation is there now, the data is there that these vaccines are seriously fucking harming people, whilst COVID, no one's dying of it.
Yeah,
I don't even know anyone who's gotten seriously ill and gone, oh, it turned out to be COVID. I've not seen it for years.
Nope.
Right now,
I personally don't know anybody that died of COVID.
Same. So why are they still now today trying to push a COVID vaccine onto a 2-year-old boy when it's the vaccine that it's been proven now that the vaccine's done more harm than good? Why is it still being pushed?
I think it's pot committed. I think the reason this won't go away, and it'll take like a generation to go away, is because you have a group of parents out there that vaccinated their children. I'm going to guess that there's going to be a reasonable portion of those people will be healthcare workers and doctors. So they can't admit that to themselves. They can't admit to themselves that they might have done something that has like essentially permanently fucked their child up or shortened their child's life. Like I couldn't, like, even now, I'd never been I call myself an anti-vaxxer by any stretch of the imagination. It was the COVID vaccine that made me start questioning vaccines. And like now I have serious questions over lots of them. But the thing is, when you've got people that have done this one thing, they've taken part in this experiment. Most of them will have this themselves, so they have to go, yeah, well, of course it's nothing. I've had it. I'm fine. So they will continually try and push this forward. Because, as I said, they're pot committed. They're committed with themselves. They're committed with their family. And to admit any of this data that's come out is to admit that they made a mistake, and something that could be a costly mistake to not just them but their friends, their family. I'd be terrified. Like right now, if I'd have gone and like I was too deep in a booster, I think it would have turned me into a hypochondriac. I think every headache, everything I got, every muscle pain, I'd have been terrified.
It's I don't know whether it's I've started looking after myself a lot more in the past couple of years, but everyone's constantly poorly, and the people around me, the people in work, friends, family, it's all the ones that got vaccinated. I know 2 people who didn't get the vaccine. And I spoke to one of them the other day and I said, just out of curiosity, because I was catching up with him from the army. I said, do you ever get like, he said, mate, I don't get poorly. He doesn't get the coughs, the colds, the same, all the sort of the seasonal stuff that goes around. Just don't get it. Just don't get it. I don't know. It's people just seem very poorly all of the time at the moment. And I don't know whether I'm more aware of it since COVID because I'm looking for it now, or whether it is genuinely the case that everybody is just genuinely more poorly since COVID.
I think there's a third one there as well, is that I think it did turn a lot of people into hypochondriacs. Like that's the especially for respiratory issues as well. All of a sudden, having a cold or a cough is a big deal. All of a sudden, I know there's been situations I've been in where like I've been under the weather, I've had a cold or something like that, and I've gone to see people like coughing and sneezing, like I can't, like what are you doing? Why didn't you just take the day off? Like don't you've got you're gonna make us sick. And you go, I've got a fucking cold. It's fucking fine. I've got a bit of a headache and I feel a bit grotty. I've had worse hangovers than this. And yeah, it's the there seems to be a fear of becoming ill from people. And maybe that's it. Maybe like the anxiety. Like I've always found that whenever I've got ill, it's been through two reasons. Usually after I've had a big session, which means like I had very little sleep, or if I'm really worried about something. And so like anxiety can fucking hammer your immune system.
Yeah, stress and anxiety is like two of the worst things on your immune system. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's another reason why people are so poorly at the moment, because stress and anxiety, genuine stress and anxiety, not the go to the doctors. Oh, what's the matter with you? Well, me wife died, my car broke down, I lost my job. Oh, you're depressed, have some tablets. I'm talking about real, genuine, like, the world we live in at the moment is so stressful. It's so stressful. People are so tense at the moment. So maybe people's immune systems are maybe they've just been completely eviscerated by, sad to say, mate, but just everyday life.
Yeah. I think we are living in such an unnatural state now. Like it's this, and some of it's great. Like Joe, it's not so long ago. Like what we're doing here would be fucking impossible. Like the idea of just a guy setting some stuff up in his house and creating something, putting it out there, and like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people like listen to it. Is fucking insane. Like it's such a short window of time where that's actually been possible to do. But the other side of that means that every day, like in your pocket, there is something that's there that's ready to give you the worst news you could possibly hear, like in a second. It's because we are morbid animals. Do you know what I mean? We're more likely to look at a picture of a car crash than a birthday cake.
Yeah. They know that. The media know that. They know that. That's why they you never see a front page of a newspaper. Well, sometimes you do. 99% of the time, it's misery in it, or it's it's drama. It's because that's what hooks people in. It's nuts, mate. Yeah, I've started. I don't know if you do the same. And I recommend everybody does it. Set yourself a cut-off time. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. When you get up in the morning, what's the first thing you usually do? For me, it was always like, I used to rock, before I didn't realise, mate, turn your alarm off, which is on your phone now, so it's automatically in your hand, and then just start scrolling.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing at 4 o'clock in the morning? What do I need to know right now? It's like, no, get up, have a bit of headspace, get your coffee, do what you need to do, and then, look at that later on. But yeah, I'd recommend to anyone now, because these things are so dangerous. They really are. You've got them in your pocket. What was that thing they called it? It was like it was something to do with like professional burnout or something like that. They did a study. People are more burnt out at home now because their work's coming through their phone and laptops than what they were like 20 years ago in work. So
it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Because you're just constantly waiting for that email, for that notification. So I get to like 9 o'clock at night, mate, and I put it on Do Not Disturb now, and then I check what I want to check, and that's me till the next morning.
Yeah. I've got a setting on my phone which blocks all but 3 numbers and text messages from 2 people. I think that's kind of it. But I mean, again, though, like you obviously, I mean, you must have the same thing with doing the national strike thing, but I would imagine there's far more interaction for what you do than what I do, and what I do feels like a full-time job sometimes. There's very, very rarely do I pick my phone up and there's not a notification about. With someone sending a DM or someone tweeting me or someone sending an Instagram message. Like there's pretty much notifications there all the time, which I kind of like. And I love the comments. I love most of the comments. Most of the comments, I should say, I love. But just don't message me about if you don't like the amount of ads there are in the podcast. We've found a solution for you. It's the Patreon. There's no adverts on the Patreon. Go and do that. Otherwise, someone has to pay for your free podcast.
You're just a fucking grifter. So the Patreon, right? So I was like, do you know what? I'm doing it. So I bought the Patreon now because I thought. So I sat and I watched
There's
you and
nothing.
Ollie.
Do you know what I love? If it's not someone like coming on the podcast and me not paying them to do it, it's someone coming on the podcast and paying me to come on. I like this. Carry on.
I didn't even think about that. And to think this idiot here was going to order a hoodie from your store as well. Yeah, mate,
God damn it.
I went on your... No, I'm getting one. I like the black one.
Fuck it, wanker.
Went on your Patreon.
Yeah.
And I looked at the comments on some of the videos. Some people have paid to go on your Patreon to then troll you in the comments on
I know.
What are they doing?
I know, it's amazing. They're my favourites. Like, if you want to troll me, pay to do it. That's fine. I am more than happy for that. Yeah, it's incredible.
That is beautiful.
Do you want to know the wild thing? I think some people have multiple accounts.
No.
Yeah, I'm convinced. There's a couple of people that are just the same people. And the best thing about that is that I'm convinced that some of the troll comments we get on Spotify, that on the episodes, I think some of those people have multiple accounts to do it, which is crazy because in order to leave a single comment, you need to listen to 5 hours of content. So that's commitment. If you've got multiple Spotify accounts and you've listened to 5 hours of podcasts on each account just to call me a twat, like, I think you deserve it at that point.
yeah, you've earned it. You've earned it. Crazy.
Right,
we get so much in our inbox as well. There's one guy, mate, right? Fucking Bob Coyne, his name is, right? And I swear to God, this fucking guy. So I've got two ladies who go through the messages because we get like hundreds of, and it's not me being like ignorant, right? I can't get through them, mate. Not if I want to get anything done. So they like filter through the messages. There's this fucking guy, Bob Coyne. He's in the comments. He's in the messages. Mate, he donated £5 to the GoFundMe just so he could leave a message, right? Now, this guy, Bob Coyne, I block him on everything. Within 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe, he's back again with a new account with the same name, with the same profile picture, with 0 friends on Facebook. I don't know how he's doing it, but he keeps making new accounts.
That is, what's the name for it? The unit?
Is it the farms?
I think
you're thinking
so.
Unit 17.
Yeah. Is it Unit 17? No, I thought it was like 5. I thought it was three numbers. I can't remember. There's like a British battalion, isn't there, for like online?
Yeah, I thought it was Unit 17.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
I'm going to Google it real time.
I will. I'll put money on it. It's that. Like there's one thing we had Ashton Forbes on the show yesterday, and I was talking to him about the way people went after him and stuff, and how if there was one thing that the MH370 case made me realize is how embedded the others, them, the fucking Illuminati, if you want to, how embedded that the deep state is, even in small platforms on of independent creators. Mm-hmm. We've had interactions with someone. I'm not going to go out and say who it was, but I'm really convinced a person got involved with this show back when it was Alien Addict, and nearly took the whole thing down by sowing deceit between me and Ollie and Dave at the time too. And I'm convinced that there are agent provocateurs out there that are just float around, probably maybe with different profiles and things. This person was a professional, and as soon as I kind of rumbled at first when I realized that for a self-employed professional, they had no social media for their business, not even a Facebook page. I'm like, okay, how are you making a living? Because you're not advertising your services. And then I eventually found their website. I was like, you've uploaded your wares once, fucking 2 years ago. You haven't updated anything. you haven't seemingly done anything, and that sent like alarm bells off for me. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would, especially with what you're doing. There will be so many eyes on it.
I can sit here now with my hand on my heart, yeah, and promise you, I'm not making it. I wasn't going to talk about it. I was talking to Ollie about it the other night, and Ollie said, "Oh, we won't ask you about it." And I said, "No, it's fine. I'm past this being told what I can and can't say." So there is a political party now who are very much on the up, and could very well win. Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. I've had people from Reform contact me because in 4 months we've got like 400,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
I've stepped back a little bit from trying to push following because it got so big so quickly, and I just couldn't keep up with it all, mostly because of the messages we were getting.
Yeah.
Asking if I would be willing to essentially push Reform through like my messaging and do it subtly to the point where it would be beneficial to me, because they're having like a ball, for example, in July. I've turned it down, and I could go and meet like networks of donors and stuff because we're starting a charity up, etc. So they're watching, and I've had that invite. Would you like to come along? Our network of donors are going to be there. You know, you can speak to them, you can network. All we'd ask is that, you know, in future uploads, and you know, to tell your community essentially that you support Reform. Just every now and again, you know, we'll give you essentially a script. You know, oh, I really agree with Nigel Farage doing X, Y, and Z, and you upload it. And so I was so close, mate, because obviously starting up the charity and stuff, you need funds, and I want to be able to help people. But we 2 weeks ago, myself and Viva name is one of the women who's doing the charity with me. We were this close to saying, okay, yeah, let's go along, let's do it. You know, I think Reform are the least worst option, so I'm not exactly selling myself out. But then I thought, you know what, mate, you're making a deal with the devil. There will be people out there, I promise you now, who once they're promised a little bit of money, or I mean, I was never promised money, I was promised to be introduced to their network of donors. People will snatch their hand off.
Yeah.
These people with large followings, you can bet your bottom dollar, mate, they're working for someone.
Yeah,
they just are.
They're influencers. You know, that's we just because someone does something else, because I think that's kind of been gone awry, hasn't it? Because you get TV personalities or actors or musicians, like they're still influencers because they have influence over large amounts of people, and like most people like that get paid. They get paid to tweet. You know, when they go, my fucking hell, I know someone that gets paid to tweet now, which is pretty fucking wild. So yeah, it would make sense that if they will do that for, I don't know, aftershave or my body scrub, that they would do it for the political party they align with. I'm 100% convinced that all the YouTubers and stuff like that suddenly became dead fucking keen on vaccination all got fucking like either like if it was a mixture of money, like followers all of a sudden, like boosts in YouTube algorithm, those sort of things. I don't see that not being a thing. On the Reform front, I think it's an interesting situation because I'm not sure where I fall on Reform. I agree with you that I think it's the least worst option, and I can't imagine another decade. You know, I can't imagine a decade of what's going on now. If Reform don't get in, I've kind of justified it to myself of like, even if I don't necessarily trust Nigel Farage, I think it breaks the British political system because it shows a third party can win.
You know what's David Betts, when he was on that podcast, Heretics, mate, when he was talking about civil law, he said, if you remember, he doesn't believe any political party now could come in and essentially save the UK. It's too far gone. The only thing that would help us now would be a complete, obviously use the word reform, but to completely, trying to think of a better word actually, to just completely overhaul the whole political. The system's broken. It needs something brand new. And the scary part for me was where he said, whichever way you look at it now, the only way that can be done is through violence. Now, I don't condone violence, but the more I thought about it, mate, I thought, shit, he's probably right. Like, whichever
Yeah.
way any political party turns now, if they make any sort of, non-middle of the road decision, they're going to piss people off, and those people are going to get very angry very quickly.
Do you know there's what's the best way to put this? The thing with the political parties, I think he's right. So, but you would want at least the closest to your team to be in power, because whoever's in power. See, this is the thing. Whoever's in power controls the military, and they control like how it's going. We've again going to talk. We'll mention COVID again. Mention strikes, for instance. How heavy-handed, like strikes and protests are being treated. If you had a political party in which at least had like an ounce of genuine conservatism about them, or not, it's not just the fact of having some sort of national identity, but I genuinely believe that Keir Starmer and Keir Starmer's Labour Party, I think they hate what Britain was. Like they have to. They like I heard someone the other day on a podcast describe Keir Starmer as evil. He said, I think he's evil because I think he does things knowing that he is causing harm to other people, and I can't disagree with that. Especially like when he stands up there saying that it wasn't right to look into grooming gangs because it was a vehicle that could be bandwagoned by the far right. So regardless of the fact if there's real victims, it doesn't matter if there's real victims because it could be a political loss for me if that happens.
What he's saying, well, to me, what I think he's saying there is he didn't want to give the so-called far right the satisfaction, because anybody who believes the best decision to make when it comes to when it comes to like the inquiry, for example, into the rape gangs, that no inquiry is better than an inquiry, is either hiding something or you're right, mate. He's evil. Like, you can't. How would I word this? If anybody wanted to hold an inquiry into me, I'd say crack on. Don't care, because I've got nothing to hide.
Yeah, don't check the third drawer in my dresser, but anything else is fair game.
Yeah, stay out of there. Yeah, there's a cupboard. There's a cupboard that you'll hear rustling in there, but don't open the door, and definitely don't look her in the eye.
If you come across anything black and shiny, it's a wetsuit.
Yeah, you can't. Why would you, for any reason, block a national inquiry, knowing how upset people would get, but also, surely there's nothing to hide. Surely. So why? It's nuts. This Casey report that's due, I think it came out originally in 2016, but then someone said there's a more sort of in-depth version that's due to be released. I don't know if that's the case, but in there apparently it clearly states that the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, when he was head of CPS, when he was covering up for like Jimmy Savile and all the rest of them, that they've knowingly, the police, the judiciary, the local councils, they've knowingly covered this up.
I think I bookmarked this on X. I think that's GB News put a list out of Labour ministers that were like kind of pointed to in this, and it was Yvette Cooper, Bridget Phillipson, Sadiq Khan, Lisa Nandy, Wes Streeting, Jess Phillips. Like, genuinely, words can't describe how much of a cunt I think Jess Phillips is. I thought Jess Phillips was a cunt before it was cool. David Lammy, Lucy Powell, Keir Starmer was the list that they put out. Do you know what fucking disgusts me with this? Like, more than anything, I'm not like, this is, it's because Labour's in power is why I'm bringing this up, and I don't think we should fucking like give the Conservatives a pass on this either. You know, they've been in power long enough. You know, when you've got Tommy Robinson bringing cases up from 20 years ago, where there's been like 14-year-old girls like fucking tortured and murdered, and there's still been no convictions of it, and then like stories of kebab shops being bugged, and like recordings of these people saying that they killed this girl and stuck her in with the meat that was being sold. Yo, this is fucking crazy stuff that's being said. And at that time, that would have been the Conservatives that were covering this up back then. You know, this is the Uniparty is responsible for this, not just Labour. But Labour happen to be in charge now, so it's that, you know, the Labour excuse is, oh yeah, well the Conservatives were in power for X amount of years before us. You know, well, you're in power now, motherfucker. So it's your watch. But the fact that you're talking about teenage girls being abused in a systematic way, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on this list are women, mothers. That's fucked.
Wasn't Jess Phillips like the champion for female? What was she? She was the female.
She was a safeguarding, head of safeguarding.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Who are you safeguarding, Jess? That's what I'd like to know. Who are you safeguarding?
It is, not to quote you, mate, it's fucking wild that you can be in that position and not want an inquiry into... And they use that fucking excuse where they go, yeah, but, you know, it was the Conservatives' impact. Yeah, but you must have known about it. They must have done. They must have known these things were going on. There's loads of... I think Reform are potentially going to be part of this Uniparty situation. I do. I think they already are. I mean, Nigel Farage stood on stage months ago, right before the general election, conveniently, and said that he was going to be holding a national inquiry into the rape gangs, and then went dead silent after the election. And now they've got the fucking audacity, because that silly bint from Runcorn, I can't remember her name now, one of the MPs for Reform, she put a post out saying, oh, it's thanks to the pressures that Reform have put on them, because we were holding our national inquiry, that's led to Labour holding their own national inquiry. It's like, how can you sleep at night saying things like that? They knew it. They were never going to hold that inquiry. They had no intention of doing it, none whatsoever. And the fact that they keep calling them grooming gangs as well really pisses me off. Just to go, I know I'm just venting now. They're not grooming gangs at all. The grooming's the bit that happens before. They defiled these girls in the most horrific ways. If these people are sick enough to carry this stuff out, if you can imagine doing stuff to someone, you can bet your life they've imagined far worse. The things that these girls must have gone through, the torture, the rape, chopped up and made into people burgers and sold in kebab shops afterwards. Like, the things these girls must, their families. There was a
story
guy
as well. That story, about that girl, the mother, because apparently the girl used to hang around the shop, and when the mother went looking for the daughter to say, look, like I was told that she'd been seen around here, they palmed her off, said no, and like offered her food. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, there's a story, and there was a father who did an interview for Urban Scoop for Tommy Robinson, and he sat there, mate, and he is a broken man. So they called him
just
up.
Quickly, one of these days, I'm gonna start like a fucking artisan ice cream business, and I'm gonna call it Urban Scoop, Carry on.
Brilliant.
I know.
Don't do it over there though. Do it on the mainland. There was a guy who sat on a couch and gave an interview for Urban Scoop, and he told the story of how they called. So these rape gangs, they called him up off his daughter's phone and told him that he had to listen to them raping her, because if he hung up, they would kill her. Right? So he had to sit there and listen. He then, at some point in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, whenever it was, found out where it was all going on. They'd already got his daughter hooked on heroin, so she kept going back. He followed her. He called the police and said, "I'm going in to get her, but I need you to come here now." He went in to get her. He dragged her out. The father was then arrested for, I think it was assault, breach of the peace, whatever. He spent the night in the cells, and they took the daughter back to the restaurant and dropped her off with the guys that had been raping and torturing her.
There's another story of a, I don't know whether she was teen or just under teen, and there was a raid on an abandoned warehouse or house where 3 men were found to be abusing her, and that girl was taken into custody as being drunk and disorderly. They were let go. This is it. And what always annoys me is it's the apology. Like, nobody's saying, right? Nobody's saying it's everybody. Nobody's saying it's all of one group. And you constantly get it, like when it's talking about men, when it's talking about, like, if saying, we might as well say, like, white men. There's always that thing, which, and I 100% agree with this, is that it's where people turn around about men being dangerous to women, and the line that will always be like, not all men, but definitely some. I don't understand why that can't be a blanket statement. You know, like, not all people, not all ethnicities, not all religions, not all races, but definitely some. Like, definitely some of those. And that needs fucking investigated and stamped out. I don't understand why we've got into a situation where where you can be branded an ist of some variety or a phobe of some variety for saying, like, I don't think this is right. I think there's something to it. If there's so many people calling for this and there's so many people trying to bury it, there's clearly something behind it. And yet you've got there is a side there that will attack anybody that questions it. And the thing is, they're attacking people, and it's the same. It's what, like, I've come to terms with the fact, over the past few I've listened to more interviews and read more stories about Robinson this year than I have ever since I first found out who he was. And I am first one to hold my hands up and say I was definitely to an extent a victim of media manipulation about that man. Yeah. I fell for loads of it. And then even when I was trying to justify it, right, even when I was trying to justify it wasn't right, I had this caveat in my head where I'd say to people, oh, well, the problem is, what he does is he makes it difficult for people like me to talk about these things because you get branded a Robinson fan. And even saying that, I might as well be writing that as a column in the fucking Guardian. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a cowardly thing, like cowardly stance to take on something. And I just think there's people out there which are far more interested in not being associated with people that they deem undesirable, regardless of whether they're right or wrong. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. Doesn't matter whether what they're talking about does genuine damage to people. But these people just want to separate themselves from the undesirables.
Yeah, there's this sort of like obsession with needing to pick a side and needing to choose whether you agree with someone or not. It's like the amount of things like I don't know, even in more simple terms, you've said things on your show, okay, and I've gone, Lee's a bit of a fucking moron. But then at other times,
I
you've said
agree.
things. At other times, you've said things. I've gone, that man's a fucking genius. So
I agree.
you can disagree with some things that people say and agree with other things. It doesn't mean you have to choose whether you associate or whether you like that person or not. You just it's bizarre, mate. I think with Tommy. So I spoke to Tommy a couple of weeks ago. He sent me a voice note. He's aware of what I'm doing. He was like, "Yeah, nice one, well done. Give me a few little tips on how to hold protests and all the rest of it, do's and don'ts, little things that he's picked up and learned along the way." Now he has made mistakes in the past. I've said it before. Okay, point to one man on this planet who hasn't made mistakes, who hasn't said or done some stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Right? Like, we've all messed up. We've all done stupid stuff. He says himself, yeah, back in like his EDL days, he was like, yeah, I was an idiot. I said stupid stuff. I've done stupid stuff. But I put a post out and it was a bit of a fuck you to the Reform lot because they said I wasn't allowed to discuss Tommy going forward if I was going to be sort of joining them. And I put a post out and I said, regardless of whether or not you agree with what Tommy has done in the past, surely you can't deny that what he did with his documentary Silenced, he opened he opened 175 million people's eyes to what was going on. And I firmly believe, mate, the knowledge people have about what's gone on with these I nearly said it yourself, grooming gang, rape gangs, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened without Tommy. And I genuinely believe that we'd be none the wiser. We would be none the wiser. So I think he's fantastic. I think what he's done, mate, is to be commended. I think what a guy. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, what he's done is get the ball rolling with hopefully giving up to a million little white girls, it's estimated, giving them some form of justice.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be too little, too late. But
I don't think what happens now happens without the Robinson documentary and his arrest and release. And there's a little bit of me wonders whether because I was surprised, right, because what was it, 13 months he did solitary? Was it 13?
No, I think it ended up being about 9 or 10, wasn't it? I think he was in for 13, but long enough, mate.
It's wild, like just that. But then to do that, and then to come back and like he didn't fucking take a breath. Do you know what I mean? Like he was on mission again outside the prison when he was released, and I can't help but think there would have been someone, probably Keir Starmer, watching that on his phone, going, "Fuck, is he not broken yet? Like, have we not done enough to fuck this guy up?"
Certainly didn't they? They were leaving tins of tuna, open tins of tuna,
yes,
in his cell for hours at a time. I think in the hopes that he was going to off himself with them. Mate, when he came out, I was because obviously he's aged like 10 years in 9 months. Maybe not that much, 5 years and 9 months.
I think he's lost a lot of muscle, hasn't he?
He's lost loads of weight.
Yeah.
He come out looking like a crackhead, right? And I thought, oh no. And he looked just fucking worn down. And then he looked up at the camera and started speaking. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
The mental fortitude you must have to go through what he's just gone through, to come back out and be like, right, let's crack on then. To me, that's so admirable, mate. That really is. Yeah. I am a conspiracy theorist, and a small part of me did think, has he even been inside? Is he part of the system? Is it a psyop? Like, is he working for Israel? Has he just been chilling out somewhere? And now, like, is this all part of the... Because to come out of solitary after 9 months and to come out swinging like that is just...
I did think that. I've thought that as well. Like but this is the world we live in now. This is the world we live in now, where we live in a post-truth world like that. There's no, because there's nowhere to go where you can find way. I mean, sorry, what I should say is there's never been a place to go to find like unfiltered truth. You know, that's we lived in an illusion where there was a time in like 1996 where you'd put the news on at 10 o'clock at night, and you watch that for half an hour and turn it off and go, I know how the world works now. Good night.
Yeah, there was like 4 stories spread out over half an hour. 10 minutes of it was the weather. Yeah.
And
now,
that was
mate,
the world.
Yeah, that was just the world.
God,
life must have been so easy. Simple.
It was. Oh, well, look, it's Cypher in the Matrix, isn't it? It's Cypher in the Matrix having a stake, wanting to go back in, wanting to forget everything that he knows, because there again, it's so, it shows how fucking important a moment in, like, at least our lifetimes. I think what will end up being like a pretty important moment in the last century. The scamdemic was, because that's like when I knew, when you just knew, right, okay, but we can't. There's no truth. Like what are we supposed to believe here? I
Maybe
don't
that was
know
where
we
it went
come
wrong.
back.
Maybe that was where it went wrong. Maybe that's where it fell apart, because, like, I'm of the same opinion as you. They were clearly doing something and it didn't go to plan. And maybe it was supposed to brainwash us all into just staying at home, shutting up. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then the protests started, didn't they? The anti-lockdown protests, and people started fighting, and people started waking up. Maybe they just never expected us to wake up the way that we did. Or
See, that's one of the things I've I was only saying this to someone the other day. You get really smart people. The problem with really smart people is that they think everybody's stupid, and it's like they don't realize that I would say the vast majority of people, like if you look at it as like professional sports, there's like an elite tier of like in a single discipline of like where if it's a field sport, you might get 5 or 6 of these elite guys that you start to consider whether they're the best of all time. But underneath them, there's like the majority of players which are just solid. You know, they're just solid at what they're doing. And I don't think the elites understood that from where they are, it's like everything down isn't stupid. The bottom might be stupid. There might be some real stupid people down there, but the vast majority in the middle are just solid, reasonably intelligent people. And I think that's where they fell apart. It's because they just didn't take that into consideration. And I think that's, again, it's what's happening right now. You know, there is enough people that, regardless of how vocal they want to be, because not everyone's going to throw themselves in front of a microphone and a camera and risk being wrong, because that's really what it is. Like I always think, like, if you're willing to go out there and put an opinion out there, you have to be willing to be wrong about that opinion, and you have to ask yourself, right, quite a lot, like, am I a fucking idiot? Am I wrong about this? And I have agonized, like, no more than over the Tommy Robinson thing. Like, that was a real battle inside my mind, because my mind was made up that guy was a like agent provocateur, like aggravator, essentially, that was probably doing things out of self-interest. And it took me a long time to wrestle my mind around, to change my opinion on that. But you've got to be open to do those sort of things.
Yeah, I think ego gets in the way for a lot of people, because no one likes to be wrong.
No,
none of us like to be wrong.
Being wrong's horrible. Like, it happened to me twice.
It is. Yeah, like it's happened to me. Honestly, I didn't take it well when I was wrong that one time in 2002, and I'm dreading the next time I'm wrong at some point in the future. But being wrong it's better than being right all the time. And I know that it's like almost a bit cliche to say, but like, what are you gonna learn by being? Well, I don't suppose. See, like, I'm saying stupid shit now, because what I was about to say was, what are you going to learn by being right all the time? You don't need to fucking learn if you're right all the time. You already know it. Like, what am I on about? You've got to be, yeah, you're right. You've got to be willing. You've got to be willing to do this, to come on here. Like I'm trying to start a movement and get a country to like bring a country together.
Mm-hmm.
When I speak, mate, I'm fully aware that at least 20 to 30% of the time, I sound like a fucking idiot because my mind works 3 times faster than my mouth. That's just, and I struggle to get things. But we all need to be willing to be wrong and to be vocal. And when we are wrong, to say, do you know what? Yeah, I got it completely wrong.
Mm.
That's
I think Andrew Doyle was on the oddly enough. Fucking hell, I wish Heretics podcast was fucking paying me for this because it's been mentioned a load tonight. He was on Heretics, the last episode I think he was on, and oh no, it wasn't the last episode, 2 ago, and he kept referring to it as the time before. He said there was a time before when people could have like mates, which like you get somebody that was a real lefty, you get somebody that was fucking an out and out nationalist, and they'd sit in the pub and they'd disagree with each other, but it didn't matter because they both supported Liverpool and they both watched the football. But now it doesn't seem to be that. There seems to be a more. It's we were having a conversation before we started this podcast about comfortable and how people feel they have the right not to be put in uncomfortable positions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that seeped into social groups like more than ever, I think. You know, like there seems to be social groups are really cliquey, like really, really cliquey. And it's really funny actually because one of the like arguments against my point there is my girlfriend is like an out and out lefty. Some of the stuff I say just to get a rise, like Jesus Christ. Sometimes I say things and think, fuck, who have I channeled? Was he Austrian? You know, but I think in general, people just try and stick together now, and it's to the detriment of everybody.
And this is the thing, right? So I know we were going to be like dipping into civil war more, and we've gone off on it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah. The thing that always gets me. A lot of the time, people say like it's us versus them, and I think did we speak about this on the show or before the show? My memory.
I think it was before the show. It was before the show.
People,
we were talking about kids and like anxiety and that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, people often say when it comes to civil war that it's like it's us versus them, and like who is us and who is them? Because if you, I always assume people are talking about like the boat people coming in, yeah. Now they all have a very specific ideology, and again we were talking about this before the show, and they're very much. From an outsider's perspective, I believe that they're all very much sort of they're quite cohesive in how they think and and what they believe. Us, sort of the British people, we're so fractured now, and we're all in little sort of factions. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's the point I was trying to get to, Lee?
Can't help you.
I can't help myself.
It's such a horrible feeling, isn't it? It's such a horrible feeling where your brain starts saying all this stuff, and meanwhile the point is just completely disappeared off from your head. And I always think in my head, because I'm quite a visual person, and I always imagine my head as being like full of like tiny little Smurf type things. And meanwhile, someone's just shoving words in the mouth thing. And meanwhile, like the little sack of words is getting slow like down. And like his mate down the bottom's having a fag break or something. He's getting more and more agitated, going like, "Fuck me! Like I need some fucking vowels here, guys. There's something like I need help."
I have no idea what I was about to say. It's gone. It's completely gone. Factions. We're all sort of divvied up. This is why I keep pushing this unity piece, yeah? Because if it ever does come to civil war, it's not going to be us versus them. It's going to be little pockets of people, and then we'll all start fighting amongst ourselves.
I know nothing about how civil war would work, but I think you're right. I think it would start like in pockets, but I do wonder whether then those pockets that had like their numbers matched most on the top trump card, whether those factions would eventually group together and to form like, you know, it's we can agree on this and this. So like whether pineapple goes on pizza is kind of redundant at this point. Like,
I have pineapple on pizza because I never did, and then I tried it, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
It's the way forward. Yeah. I've
have you ever had it on a chicken burger?
Pizza. Yeah, absolutely. Hawaii, like, it's essentially, but pineapple on just about everything is the way forward. Also, if you have cold pizza the next day, it's like a little pocket of moisture, like in a barren desert of pizza.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to try that. We'll have to try that just for the next day. There was a guy I knew. He used to dip the pizza in a tin. You know that when you get the pineapple. Why are we on about pineapples now, Lee? It's getting late. He used to dip it in the syrup.
Trying to get away. You're trying to get away from not remembering what you were talking about before.
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from the fact. Like, have you ever gone to a job interview and someone asks you a question, you think I should really know what I'm talking about here, and you just end up talking about dipping fucking slices of pizza in tins of pineapple. Yeah, that's what I used to do anyway. So, right back to Civil War. You keep breaking up, mate. I keep losing your picture as well. I'm just hoping this doesn't go out and it's.
I think
it might just be on my end.
No, we're okay because it does local recordings. This so
Cool.
we'll be fine. But yeah, what you were saying about factions getting together and how it'll be small pockets. I just wonder whether the us versus them thing, maybe that's where it sparks out. But the worry about that then is that one side, because like you were saying before about people wanting a civil war that don't really understand what's going to happen. The people that say that don't think for a second that what if the other side's organized?
Mm-hmm.
And worse than that, we've seen the like protests like all over the West now, as far as like the US and Europe, that they're funded by somebody. You know, there's there was posts on Reddit the other day that was talking about there was a protest that was going on in the US. And there was something offering them something up to like $3,000 a week if the people could prove that they were like useful people, essentially, which I can only imagine what they mean by trained, you know, to do that sort of thing. So you want dangerous fucking agent provocateurs. And that would be the danger. That's what I worry about, because there is that, like, if we just want to go for the small boat people, which I think it's a good point. It's a good point of attack, for want of better words, because you're criminals immediately because you've entered a country illegally. So that's you know that's like your first hello, like your first foot onto the soil of another country is breaking their laws. That's not a good start. Do you know what I mean? You don't walk into somebody's house and break the television. So the fact that, you know, you've got these migrant hotels that are being set up, and I do wonder to myself whether my conspiracy brain starts ticking, because we do constantly hear the fighting age men that are coming over, and these hotels, you could probably call them barracks if you wanted. You know,
they are definitely.
So, what
they're teaching them? They're giving them kickboxing lessons in the hotels. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, so we're paying, I think it's £2 million a week for self-defense classes. Look into it. £2 million a week we're spending on self-defense classes for them. Why?
That's wild.
They're training them.
There was the pictures as well, wasn't there? Of I can't remember whether it would have been after the stabbings, or the riots that ensued there. Where I remember there was bins being set on fire outside a hotel, and like the group of people that were upstairs, it looked like
one of the people stood in the windows had some sort of some sort of automatic machine gun that was stood in the window.
There was a lady in Northern Ireland who got video footage of. So you can have like NATO parcels. NATO they travel on a NATO travel order. They have sort of you can get like diplomatic pouches, diplomatic crates, diplomatic ISOs, and all the rest of it. It's how militaries move stuff into different countries. Well, there were NATO authorized wooden crates dropped off at hotels in Northern Ireland. And essentially, because these people have signed on the dotted line, they get their money to house these immigrants. They're essentially told what they can and can't do. So that this lady, she signed the paperwork to say that she definitely wouldn't look inside these crates. She'd store them. This footage then went online. It's since been removed. I cannot find it anywhere, but I know that I saw this footage back in the day. This was probably about 7 months ago. Now she was arrested, and no one's heard or seen from her ever since. There was footage of automatic weapons in crates. There was things like white spirit, tubs of chemicals, all the rest of it in there. You could argue potentially to make bombs. And there's multiple reports of this.
Yeah, the first story I heard of weapons being dropped off at hotels was during the lockdown time. That was the first time I saw like these stories start to trickle up and like become a thing, and I wasn't sure what to make of it then. I don't know what to make of it now. Do you know what I mean? It's a terrifying prospect because that's it done. Do you know what I mean? Like that's you can have all your fucking like grand romantic ideas of a civil war and the like taking your country back. You on one side, that's not it's not a war anymore, it's a massacre.
I don't understand the left, because they keep going on about this whole, all refugees welcome, and it's like, these people that are coming in, so first of all, so you're gay? Yes, right, okay, and you identify as like a fucking traffic cone.
Chimpanzee,
Yeah. Like, they're coming for you first, motherfucker. Like, you're going to be the first ones. They hate you. You are everything that their ideology says is wrong. Like, it's so scary, mate. It really is. I mean, I say this all the time, and I've never really said it publicly, but fuck it. Get yourself. You are entitled as a UK citizen, provided you have never committed, or you haven't recently committed in the last 5 years, a violent crime. It is your right to apply for your shotgun certificate. It used to be called a license. It's not called a license anymore because you're entitled to it. It's an entitled, so you have to get a certificate. Get your fucking shotgun certificate. It's like 40 quid to get your certificate. Pay your doctor 30 quid to do the medical questionnaire. And then you can pick shotguns up for like 50, 60 quid, right? Now, I am not saying go out with your shotgun, okay? Absolutely not. However, I sleep far better knowing I have a gun safe in my room. And that's just me being honest. I do clay pigeon shooting. I do a bit of hunting in the seasons and stuff like that as well. One thing, Dave, he very American, but he was right in what he said. He said, if you can, get armed, because what happens when these people take to the streets and they're just going around with machetes? Forget automatic weapons and all the rest of it. The fact that they're just going around with machetes is enough it should be enough to make people absolutely fucking shit themselves, because what do we have to defend ourselves? What are we allowed?
It is wild, isn't it? I was again I was I wouldn't say I was anti-gun. I was indifferent to it. Do you know what I mean? But I was definitely in the camp of that. Would keep looking at the news when there was another school shooting in the US and go like, "Fuck, well, this is a bit wild. Well, what's going on here?" But there is.
I believe there's more cons. There's more cons to an unprotected nation than there is to having a protected nation.
Yeah,
I don't know how you reintroduce that type of thing. It's one of the thoughts I've always had on legalizing drugs. You know, people turn around and say like we should start decriminalizing drugs. I go like that will be better in the future, I think. But then you have this short period of time where a load of people that weren't allowed something get fucking kid in the sweet shop like thing, and then they're fucked. They're fucked because like you've just gave them access to try fucking all of the things. And I think there would be if you were to suddenly turn around and say, right, we now have a British Constitution. One of the things on the British Constitution is a right to bear arms. I think people would be settling football disputes with fucking Glocks in no fucking time, and you'd be like, fuck, what are we doing here? We need to fucking try and fucking calm down here, people. We can't do Homer Simpson. Remember Homer Simpson got his gun and he started like trying to change the TV channel with it and stuff like that. I know at least 16 people that would do that.
He's definitely one of them.
Right.
I don't know. I tend to disagree, you know, because so like if you look at it from the drug side of things, I think anybody who isn't taking heroin now, for example, if they were like, right, we're just gonna decriminalize drugs, most people would go, do you know what? Even though I'm allowed it, I'm not gonna take crack. Do you know what I mean? You might get a lot of people get high, smoke a bit of blow. But I don't think people would go, and I think it's the same with guns. The type of people who are willing to go out and shoot someone over a football dispute are the same people who would be willing to go out and stab someone over a football dispute. So it's probably somewhere in the middle between sort of what I'm saying and what you're saying, if we're being realistic. But
see, I think drugs and pornography share like a really common theme. That I think widespread exposure to either just breeds more and more extremism in the thing. You know, do you know what I mean?
I've cut right back on porn. Like I have my hour a day, and I've had to cut right back.
It's all you need. Like all you need is an hour a day. And like sometimes if it's like a bank holiday or something, like an extra half an hour in the evening or something like that. But yeah, an hour's enough for anybody.
It is. I mean, I'm splitting it up in 4-minute slots, so I spread it out nice and evenly amongst.
Why waste time?
Yeah. No, it's I've cut right back on porn. I just don't watch it anymore. And I used to. I'll be honest. I used to be quite bad. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting older now as well, so maybe that's half the issue. Now I've got a son and stuff. It's you don't fucking get time, mate, do you?
Yeah,
but
that's the issue.
That's the issue. God, I miss porn. No, I just don't bother with it anymore. I think it should not be completely taken away, because I don't believe in taking things away from people that aren't, you know. But I think it does need to be cut right back. Like some of the stuff and you're right, mate, it's like a gateway thing, isn't it? Because you start and then it's like, all right, what's the next thing? This is boring now. All right, what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
You know, you're watching midgets get tortured.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're logging into your mum's OnlyFans and you're not even ashamed of yourself anymore.
I mean, we don't need other people's mums when we've got Ollie.
Just me?
But, no, yeah, I do. I think that's because you can look at the history of porn, like the how much it's changed in like our lifetime. From like being this like really weird, almost art house type movies with like weird jazz in the background, to where like if it's not some girl that's like being 18 for 14 seconds, surrounded by men, at the beginning of the video, it's not on the front page of Pornhub, is it?
Mate, Bonnie Blue.
Oh, she's been cancelled, hasn't she?
She's a man.
Right. I need somebody to tell me who that person is that looks like her, the guy, because that's fucking insane. I'm going to bring that up for the people that haven't.
Could it be AI? Has that been verified?
Maybe.
Is it? Has anyone looked into that?
But she's just she's lost her OnlyFans, hasn't she? Did you hear about the stunt she wanted to do? Stunt, like the fuck stunt, like it's.
I saw something. I can't remember what it was. All I know is if you're getting cancelled by OnlyFans, right, you are a special level kind of fucking deviant. Like, who gets cancelled by OnlyFans? Bonnie Blue.
So right, awesome, found it. Share screen. I mean, it's the eyes, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
gorgeous.
The nose. Yeah, both sides. But do you know what though? Like, I'm fucking here for this one. If the fucking plot twist of 2025 ends up being like Bonnie Blue has like gayed a load of straight men without them knowing, fucking incredible work. Like, as a person that appreciates like a solid piss boil, like goat stuff, absolute goat stuff.
I mean, they wouldn't be gay though, because if you transition, then you're a woman, aren't you? So
not anymore.
I love the fact that it's shifting, mate. It's going back to normal. Praise God, it's going back to normal. I love it. I love it.
Do you know what the wild thing is? I don't know whether I'm just desensitized to anything, but essentially, do you know what she was banned off OnlyFans for?
No.
So she was going to do a thing called the petting zoo, I think it was going to be called, where she would be put in a glass box for 24 hours, and it's just open season. She was essentially going to do the porn version of what Marina Abramovic did. Remember when Marina Abramovic did that standing thing where she stood in a room, didn't she, with she stood, I can't remember how long she stood there for, but she stood there with 60 objects, and there was like a loaded gun, there was all this sort of stuff. And and it started with like just people coming up and like looking at her and stuff like that. The next thing is she's getting fucking stuff done to her, and someone made her stand there with like a loaded gun pointed at her own temple and stuff like that. Weird, like I mean, I'm 100% convinced that Marina Abramovic is our Aleister Crowley. I think that's what she is. I think she is a witch. Like, I think she, regardless of whether it works or not, I believe she believes she's doing magic. Like, that's where I stand on her. But yeah, Bonnie Blue is essentially going to do the same thing, but
with a lot more cock.
With a lot of just making cocks disappear.
Just fucking hell.
But do you know what the thing is? I don't know whether I'm desensitized, but I thought kind of feel a bit bad for her getting banned from OnlyFans for that.
Yeah, I mean, what's she gonna? Where do you, like? She's not gonna go and get a job at B&M now, is she?
No, she's not. I mean, luckily enough, she is, fucking multi-millionaire, isn't she? Now, which is quite impressive because she's not actually that attractive.
No.
But, yeah, but if this year's top fun conspiracy can be Bonnie Blue actually a guy, fucking bring it.
Beautiful. There are thousands of men sat at home now, just waiting for that news. Am I gay?
Like,
as far as scams go, that's probably my favourite so far, if that's true.
To be perfectly honest, I'm amazed that like was it 1,000 men or 100 men? 1,000 men. Must be
thousands. Yeah.
Thousands. I'm surprised that didn't start some sort of pandemic. That's got to be more dangerous than bat soup.
Did they all get checked before? There must have been some sort of like screening process.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you would hope so. But like, does that mean 1,000 men actually going to get an AIDS test? But
there must have been something, because and I'm just thinking of this like pragmatically now. She would have had to have okayed every single man, because imagine if you go 1,000 men, and then fucking Tyrone turns up with his 3 brothers, right? And they're hung like fucking donkeys. What if you get 100 men like that? Am I thinking too much into this, Lee? I'm starting to worry myself now.
I think.
Surely you'd want 1,000 smaller ones. Is my point.
I think that would probably be preferable. But I think either way, I think she's equipped to deal with any such situation. Yeah, to any such situation. She's a bit of a jeep when it comes to human beings. You know, like it's great to go and pick your kids up in, but also like if you need to cross a ravine, it's fine.
So during the transition, she must have said, "Make it nice and deep, Doc."
Oh, it's so grim. So grim. But well, I think the fact we're talking about Bonnie Blue getting plundered like fucking some sort of pirate treasure. That must be why the box thing was done, the glass box, because that was open season. I think she was actually like that was. I don't think that was checked. I think that was just like whatever you want to do. Available, and I would imagine fucking pretty grotty round about the 20th hour. But
her parents are her managers, aren't they? I think it's her mum specifically is her manager.
Yeah, all the father does is manage not throwing himself off a bridge.
Yeah. No, he's. I think she said he does some of the management as well. Like a mum and dad take it in turns. Like what a family meeting.
Which ironically is what all the other men are doing.
Yeah.
I can't get it. I don't. I will. Did that was the first, because I heard about who Bonnie Blue was, and all this wild stuff of her like collecting virginities, like they were fucking the skulls on a predator's necklace, and the first interview I ever heard her do was with that Tufnell guy, or Tufts guy, the Dozen podcast. I got Tommy Robinson's mate. Yeah. And I like when she was talking about her dad and stuff like that. I don't understand how that guy doesn't walk home, go home every night, sit in front of a mirror and go, "What did you do?" Like what?
No, I know what it is. I know what it is.
Bummed her? What?
Well, if your daughter sleeps with loads of people, yeah, that's not. But if your son sleeps with loads of women, it's like a bit of a legend. So maybe he's just not come to terms with the fact that his son is.
Maybe he knows it's his son. That's why he's cool with it.
Yeah. Just do whatever you want, son. I don't care.
I think there's a tipping point, though. I think as soon as you get into like over 100 people, you'd be like, "Calm down, lad. That's enough now. Like we've got our eye in.
100.
Yeah, yeah. You've got your eye in. I think anybody understands. Like you know your way around it now. Time to settle down." Well, I fucking hope I don't have to deal with any of that. But which I probably won't do, because by the time my child grows up, I would imagine they are married to some type of robot AI thing. Like maybe it might be a fox, it might be a person. I don't know, but I probably won't have to worry about it. He'll probably be in the Matrix by then anyway. He'll probably left like physical form. And he like travels the world like some sort of fucking ethereal Casper.
What do you think the world is going to look like in 20 years? Genuinely. Just think UK. Don't worry about anywhere else. The UK. Where do you see?
I've said before, people kept turning around and they've said for a while that we live in 1984. We don't live in 1984. We lived in 1984 in about 1999. I think that's like when the surveillance state really picked up. When ironically, I think lots of it has to do with storage capacity, because all of a sudden it became really easy. Like people used to kind of know that when security cameras were put up, that it was like there was either a rolling tape in there, or if it was a hard drive, something had happened at some point. Someone had forgot to change it. Someone had forgot to change the tape, and most security cameras didn't fucking mean anything. But as soon as we were able to hold like vast amounts of data in data centers digitally, then that meant like 24-hour surveillance can be a thing. Like space isn't an issue anymore. So that was when we were in 1984. I think we are headed towards something which is somewhat a mixture between idiocracy and a brave new world. I think people are going to find new ways. I think we'll probably end up with some sort of digital currency. I think the pound and like fiat currency as we see it is gonna end. I don't know if that means it goes into something that's decentralized like Bitcoin, or whether it is a central bank digital currency that comes in.
I think it'll be a central bank, yeah.
I think it'll be. But the thing is, I think it's going to be necessary as well, because I think there will be a need in our lifetimes for some sort of universal basic income. I think it might even be spurred on by us because the way spending's going on. I don't have a private private pension or anything like that. Something when I was younger I didn't think I would need to have. And I think by the time I'm older, that the pensions will have like just completely dried up, and that's when they're going to have to find this new system to support people, and they're going to use that like it might not even be me, it might be people that are sort of like in their 50s now rather than their 40s, that need the first steps of we've got this new token that you can go in exchange for goods and services.
Yeah, money as we know it, mate, it's not going to work for much longer, because like in the UK now especially, we have more people hitting pension age than babies being born.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bigger push into video games and virtual reality. I think there is people don't realize how good that's going to be the next generation of it, because like MetaQuest 3 is really cool, and it's already kind of outdated, and they've already said that people were expecting like a new version of it to be coming out this year or next year. Meta have said that they're pushing that back to 2027. So when these next rounds of like all-in-one virtual headsets come out, it's going to be it's going to be the type of generational leap that we used to see in like video games. And I bought one, like because I spent like big chunks of time during lockdowns on my own in my house. Like I was just playing games in virtual reality, and I will be fucking honest, when we couldn't do anything and go out and see people all the time, it fucking helped. It was cool. So you stick that with maybe a society that's slightly more dangerous to be outside in all the time, a society that's attacking the hospitality industry. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think one of the reasons the hospitality industry is getting decimated like it is because the powers that be don't want people. They don't want people gathering. But not only that, alcohol is the best social lubricant, isn't it? Like you stick people together with drink, and they will talk to each other, and I think they find that very difficult. But then for the younger generation, in like 20 years' time, I think that's where the Brave New World thing will look. That's where you're going to have far more accepted and widespread use of recreational drugs. I think you're going to have people which are just kind of are pushed into like I want to say debauchery, but it's not. I don't necessarily mean debauchery. I just mean the like the party lifestyle. I think that's going to become how people spend their time, being spurred on by influencers and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be different. I'm not. I don't think it's going to be like good for anyone. I don't see the play thing writing. I think that's my main thing. I think the best we can do is try and navigate things and stay sane. What about you?
I think so. I go to, for so long, the elite, whatever you want to call them, right? Those at the very top have needed us, the little worker ants, to get everything done. Now they don't, because technology is so good. So, do they want us all just sort of plugged in to what, how would I say this? The human being in today's sort of the way the world's structured, we're becoming more and more obsolete to those at the top. That pretty soon they're not going to need us at all. They'll have robots doing everything for them. They'll have AI doing everything for them. Like, they'll be able to program a computer to make them, a certain dish, and it will get it. The robot will get it spot on every single time. There'll be no need to pay like, a Michelin-starred chef stupid money.
I think we're a couple of generations away from that, though, more than 20 years.
I flip-flop because obviously the more I look into AI, I flip-flop with AI, for example, because you listen to these podcasts, the way Elon Musk speaks about it and all the rest of it, and it's like, it's always, they describe it as having this like sort of snowball effect, like it's just going to get better and better, faster and faster. It's it's learning at the rate of like 6 million times what a human can learn at, and it's able to program itself and then teach itself and all. And then I flip-flop back to, well, surely it's just the internet on steroids. That's all it really is. I don't know, mate. I just think the more we rely on, and technology is fantastic, but the more we rely on technology, the worse sort of civilization, the more obsolete we will become. That's what worries me. And technology is getting so good now. I think they'll want us either just wiped out or plugged in. And I think it's the Cypher syndrome. You were talking about Cypher from the Matrix before. I think a lot of people would be too tempted to go, do you know what? Yeah, life's shit. I'm just going to plug myself in.
I think they want people plugged in because there seems to be a concerted effort to cause despair, and that
despair and division.
Yeah, but there must be a reason for that. No, but the thing is, I'm not even sure whether the division is a product or like a side product or a purpose. Like, is the division caused on purpose, or is the division caused to cause the despair? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know which is like the primary goal. I think it must be
purposeful, because if they just want to cause, if they want to cause despair, they know that the despair would sort of fuel the division.
Yeah. But I'm not making my point clear. I don't know whether
No, I'm just thick.
No. I don't know whether the division is used to cause the despair, or the despair is used to cause the division. Because division doesn't make sense, What makes sense, if you want control over people, what they're doing doesn't make sense. You wouldn't flood a country with a foreign ideology to do this. And then in the States, you wouldn't, if you wanted complete control, you wouldn't fragment the society in such like a hard left and right. I think that we don't really have the word for it now. James Delingpole has a good one for it, actually. He used to refer to them as the predator class. I always quite enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they had it nailed in about 2003. 2003, as far as the West goes, like they could go to war wherever they wanted, and they would be support. Like the West was supporting it. The Britain was supporting British troops going away. America was supporting American troops. The New World Order experiment was in full swing. And why was that? That was because people had enough money to go and do the stuff they wanted to do, and there was essentially a quiet bargain of all of the atrocities happen on the television, but over here my life is fucking sweet, so I'm going to stay quiet. The 2008 financial collapse, I think, was the beginning of people being less satisfied, because that was the beginning of when you start going to the supermarket, and it took a while to get to the point where we are now, obviously, but that was the point where you go, oh, can't quite get that thing, can't afford like another monthly payment for something now, and now we're where we are, and that's like, again, that's sowing the misery, that's making people unhappy with like elected leaders. That's where I don't understand. Surely, if you wanted to create a one world government, or at least even if you didn't want to be a one world government, let's just say like a centralized Western government. Let's go with that, because realistically, if you unite like the entire West, and then you've got like China, Russia, and India over there, and then the like Middle Eastern countries, you've won essentially, because you've got so much power behind you that what are they going to do? We can slowly like move our way forward then, if you wanted to do the one world government thing. But the way they're doing it, I don't see why you can't get control of this, because you can't get control of people when they're angry. We know this. If you want to keep people in control, you keep them dumb and happy. And that's where I'm kind of, I don't really get what the end game is, unless the end game is misery. Like you can go off the reservation with this sort of thinking, and like the idea of like loose harvesting, and that there is like interdimensional entities that feed off the misery of fucking us, and it's some sort of like, I mean, we've got another guest on tomorrow, Fringe. I'm sure we're going to be talking about the soul trap with her, and it's something. There's something else. That's what I'm trying to say with this. If there's an agenda, and there feels like there's some sort of an agenda, there is something else, not just it's like a global palace coup, for instance. It's more than just we want to install a new political system with a new monetary system. Because if that's all they want to do, then you would just do it, tiptoe it. They'd already won. They've already won the digital currency war. When's the last time you paid for cash or something?
I just because of what I'm doing, I use cash all the time, but I know so many people don't. It's a fucking faff, mate. You've got to go out, you've got to go to the cash machine, you've got to draw it out, you've got to go. Yeah. It's easy to just tap your card or your phone now.
You spend more money. Like it's every time you go to the shops, if you're spending cash, you're breaking into whole notes rather than just spending the £2.50 you need to spend on like whatever it is, the lube or whatever you're buying. Silly lube costs well more than £2.50.
I was going to say I want your lube if you're getting if £2.50. That came out completely wrong.
It does not work well.
Crisp and dry oil, mate. Vegetable oil works a treat. But I don't know. I just don't know. We talk about what they want, like it's one single entity, but I think there's lots of different entities battling it out.
More like a Game of Thrones than a.
Yeah. That's quite a good way of looking at it. Either that, or are these people who are sort of like bobbing around at the top? Is it just a game to them? They've got all the money in the world. They've got all the power in the world. They've got everything they could ever want. It's like, you ever played GTA?
Yeah.
You finish the game, and then you've probably done what most of us do when you complete the game, which is go around and like finish
Pick
off a little
hookers
side
up.
quest.
Pick
Yeah,
up
just fuck
hookers
about.
up.
Yeah, run people
Drive
over.
them off into the country. Like, yeah.
Yeah, live out your fantasies. Yeah. So maybe they're just like they've completed life, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? What else is there for them other than to just fuck with people,
Maybe.
just for their own satisfaction?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I constantly, again, I flip flop from one day I believe one thing, one day I believe the other. I don't know. I just can't work it out.
That goes back to what we said before. It's post-truth world.
Mm.
I worry about this sometimes with even like conspiracies and things, and you go, like, is the rise of conspiracy theories the result of conspiracy theories being true, or is it a symptom of there being no objective truth anymore?
Mm.
You know, because like, is that where we've gone? Have we turned the world into like a choose your own adventure game? It's like, so what are you? Oh no, my choose your own adventure is like gender ideology. All right, okay, well, mine's QAnon. You know, it could be a coping mechanism. All of this, everything we see, and whatever's going on with humanity right now, could be a coping mechanism to the fact that we've moved so far away from a natural like equilibrium of how we're supposed to live, that the strings have fell off it. Was it centurions? Centurions were called centurions because each centurion was in charge of 100 men.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I'm right here. If I'm not right, I'm going to sound smart at least while I'm being wrong.
Yeah, just go with it.
Yeah, and the idea was that they worked out that a single person could have a relationship with 100 people. So Bonnie Blue is well out of this because like she's having relations with everybody. But so that makes me think of social media. So if that's the case, right? If that's the case, if we have enough like bandwidth for like 100 people to where we can we'll remember their names and stuff like that. Obviously, back then there was a little bit more time to remember names. And you didn't have so many distractions. Like phone numbers. I can't remember phone numbers anymore. I used to remember all of the phone numbers. Now my phone knows them. But what we have is, even a smaller Twitter account like Daily Conspiracy Podcast, it's for fucking thousands of people. Do you know what I mean? Like that, and that's fucking... That I know, like, I know we've hit like some sort of wall. People say that X isn't like censored and it's for all free speech and that. Fuck no, you hit that like the minute you do something, because there was one moment there where I took over doing the social media and we grew from because it was Alien Addict old one. And we grew like an extra 2,000 followers in fucking no time. And it was like immediately they're like, oh, people are following you. Right. How about no? You know, how about nobody follows you? Is that my child or a cat? It's a cat.
No.
But yeah, my cat just threw me well off there. Yeah, I don't know. It's... I mean, there is no option. There's no option. Just ride things out now, isn't it? And keep a fucking open mind to everything being possible, and don't shut yourself off from anything. But I think, like we were saying before, the biggest thing is to make sure that you can accept to be wrong. Don't fucking make the mistake. Like the people you can see it right now. I think with the right in the in America and what's now quietly being referred to as like the woke right. Do you know what I mean? Like you're hearing this now where there's the minute people get an advantage, they fucking dig their heels in. And I get it. A certain side has been doing all of the fucking making all the rules up for too long. And I've always said that from the rise of like an authoritarian left, it was the swing back, that the correction that really worried me. But you don't want to be that. Like, that's why I think the best decisions are made in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think, or do you think you're always going to have that swing? We're never going to be able to sort of exist somewhere in the middle, are we? I think we're destined to just constantly just swing back and forth, and we have that period in the middle where everything's lovely, but then it starts to swing the other way again.
I think it depends. I've always been. I'm quite a, what you call it. I'm quite self-critical, and I forgot the fucking word for it.
Yes, it's happened to you too, and you're the fucking professional here.
Yeah, of course. If I like that, I joked with someone once, because like one time I was doing like music, I was doing podcasts, and there was like another thing that I was involved with. So like, wait, you can tell we're fucked now, because like, if I'm what we could consider a Renaissance man now, like, that's civilization's done. But I'm quite introspective. That's what I was looking for. And the like things that have gone on lately, like, again, I believe there is, like, I believe there's a collection of powerful people, like, at least we'll say, because I think there's probably like some stuff above that as well, in the spiritual realm, that they're like are either pulling strings without people realizing it, or very much in contact with certain people. But we'll just base it like in reality, like what we know. I think there is incredibly powerful people that have amassed incredible sums of money that have like huge impact on like just not just like politics and stuff like that, but real granular stuff of how we live our lives. And I could see like the sense of going one way, but then when you get with what it's really cool and like sort of kind of socially acceptable now to give it the whole like it's the Jews thing. That drags me back to the middle, because that's like it's an anchor point, because I go, right, I just don't believe that, you know, and then you'll get so many people will jump on that, and right, are there Jews inside of the like whatever the cabal is? Probably. Are there Christians? Probably. Are there Muslims? I would imagine so. I think whatever the power structure is, and whatever the controllers are, I think they exist outside of what we commonly refer to as like the groups of people. I think they, you can kind of tell that in the way the stuff they push with the global citizen sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at themselves as like nationalities. They look at themselves as open borders of being people of the world. So to try and label it on one thing, that, like I said, that drags me back to the center and go, right, okay, I think as a person, I operate better here than like trying to go too far one way or the other.
Mm. I think there's definitely people behind government. I mean, we all say that. I was just thinking then about, obviously, the Epstein files popped into my head. Mm-hmm. Now Trump very, very openly he said, we're gonna release all the files. Now we still haven't had all of them. So either one or two things.
Haven't had anything new.
We had nothing new. That's what I mean. Yeah. So only one of two options. There must be only one of two reasons why that would be the case. Either Elon wasn't throwing his toys out the pram and Trump is on the list, and there's something but then could he just have it scrubbed? I mean, he's the most powerful man in the world. Or there is someone more powerful than the president of the United States or a group of people saying, no, you're not having it. And there's fuck all you can do about it.
The fact is that whoever, like, whether it was Israeli intelligence, whether it was a mixture of intelligence agencies, again, let's go fucking fully off the reservation. Maybe it was the intelligence agency from the so-called like breakaway civilization that we hear. You know, maybe that's who sets up these honey trap operations so they can get their influence on like what we think of as being like the rest of the world. So if that's the case, let's face it, that island was in operation for a while. Whoever was going to it was probably a repeat offender. Whoever was compromised has been compromised for a long time. You know, that's so. I don't think there's an option to scrub anything, because the people that the intelligence agency, like the intelligence has been collected for, has already had the intelligence. So yeah, they fucking go and they get all the stuff from Epstein Island and stuff like that. Great, you've now got an FBI headquarters. Have you burnt it? Maybe you burnt some of it. Have you kept most of it? Probably, because then you can use it. But the fact is, the people that paid for that to be done in the first place still have it and still have the influence on those people. So that's that. So at that point, you've got to think, if you were compromised then, just because Epstein's dead, just because there's nothing going on the island, and just because the FBI under Kash Patel now has all the Epstein stuff, doesn't necessarily mean the compromised people are any less compromised than they were before that. So if that's the case, then why the fuck aren't they talking about it? Because if you knew, right? If you knew there was chances that there was like politicians, there was scientists, there was billionaires out there, like hugely influential people that were compromised by enemy states, the best thing you could do is to out them. Because at least you know, if you out them, they can't be used against you. You wipe the board at that point and you set the pieces up again.
You know what's really, really saddening is, as like conspiracy theorists, we're constantly trying to search for the answer. We'll probably never get it in our lifetime, mate.
No, probably not. No.
And that's a miserable thought. We're going to keep searching because it's in our nature, but
yeah,
I don't think we'll ever know.
Well, that and grifting. That's
grifting. Grifting. Thinking about Ollie's mum, limiting porn to 1 hour a day.
Of Ollie's mum.
Of Ollie's mum in 4-minute increments, and yeah, trying to search for the truth that we probably will never ever get.
No, probably not. But
what a life!
Yeah, do you know what? I wish I did. I wish I started doing a conspiracy theory podcast when I started listening to conspiracy theory podcasts, because it seemed so fun then. It seemed so fun. Like it was so outlandish. You didn't think any of it was really real. You were just listening to this stuff going, tell me more about the flying saucers. Nibiru, you say? Okay. And,
yeah, back then it could be a hobby. Now it's reality.
Yeah, like, now it's the news.
Yeah, now it's the news.
Yeah, now Tucker Carlson talks about it, or like the stuff on GB News that you said in the podcast like fucking 2.5 years ago. Or it's not. It's weird now. It's still fun, which is weird. I think that shows that only fucking damaged people can do it. But it's an odd fun. It's a self-flagellation type fun now.
Well, it's like, look at the chemtrail thing, yeah. So for fucking how long ever they're spraying the skies, and you know, you had people saying, "Oh no, you're a moron," and then people are like, "No, you don't understand that they're spraying the skies and that they're going to try and block out the sun." And then the UK government literally come out and say, "Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's what we're going to do." And then it's like, "Oh, well, fucking ruin that one for us now."
I thought
what Ashton did you listen to today's podcast at all? What we put out, the one we did.
I haven't done today's. No, not yet, mate.
Right, there's a really good part in it that Ashton said early doors, and I hadn't thought about it, and it was a throwaway comment, and it hasn't stopped bouncing around my little brain since. He said that the powers that be are out and out telling people what they're going to do. He said, but people are too fucking anxious to listen to it. And I couldn't then like not think about the 2017, or sorry, like not the 2017 New York Post article. It was the following one, which came out in like 2019. I remember it being lockdown time. It might have been 2020. Where basically they came out and they were like, yeah, fucking crash retrieval and everything, fucking non-biological stuff. And everyone kind of looked at the internet for like 2 minutes and went, and then carried on with the rest of their day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we are. Like, I think the people are at breaking point with this stuff. You know, the just the constant barrage of shit. They're at breaking point from it. And it just numbs people things. So like it's like being in an abusive relationship. At some point you don't cry when you're being hit, you just flinch.
Yeah. Those early first slaps now, that it's water off a duck's back, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was looking at the Air India, the plane that's just gone down, and you know, I don't know if you've seen the footage of the plane on the ground.
In the side of the building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's so fucking intact, despite the fact that the news channels put out the plane going and then the massive explosion. But now the plane, you know, that it's been shown on the ground, it's fairly intact.
Yeah.
A lot of the luggage is all intact. The paperwork's, the documents, but so is the building. Now, this plane would have been filled with fuel. It's just taken off.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2001, when a plane hit the World Trade Center, that fuel melted the steel beams apparently and brought the whole building down. But this has hit what looks like some sort of really old. I don't know how you describe it.
It's made of fucking sand, cum, and the dreams of fucking children. You know, it's hardly a fucking stable structure.
God, I love your way with words. It's intact. I mean, it's not intact. It's got a plane hanging out the fucking side of it, but like that would have been like really juicy a few years ago. Do you know what I mean? And I even looked at that and I was like, this makes no fucking sense. And then I just sort of, fuck it, I can't even be arsed. And I just scrolled away. Yeah, what's next? And I haven't looked at it since. Now that's just not me. That's not what I would have done a couple of years ago.
I wondered with that, where we just don't know anymore. So we know that news is like an entertainment wing of the propaganda machine. We know they'll lie about stuff. We know that they'll insert stuff into stories and video into stories that doesn't really make any sense, that might not even be related to it. And you go, well, I wonder if that explosion was the real thing. Was that an explosion from something else? Was that, you know, but you're right. That plane looked fucking placed there, didn't it?
Yeah.
It looked placed. And but you're right. I haven't really looked into it. But, mate, we have been going 2 hours, 13 minutes. This is a gigantic podcast for a midweek podcast for us. I
just
thoroughly
two of us.
Enjoyed it. I mean, do you know what? I mean,
I didn't even say take us out, Ollie. Could I say take us out, Lee? No, is that not the done thing?
No, you can go. You can go for it.
Do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Take us out, Lee.
Well, in this fine evening where we haven't had Ollie, I think it's been a really nice podcast. And once again, it's proved that Ollie's fucking disposable. And
useless.
if I have to kill another host, I'll just do it.
I think you should. This is the new Daily Conspiracy Podcast. I want to make a few changes. I've got a few ideas. I'm possibly going to get a new host, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How do you feel about rainbows? But yeah, no, thanks for coming on, mate. Like, especially the Ollie had stuff that came up like out of nowhere. It was supposed to be the three of us on the podcast. So not only have you been like an incredible guest as normal, you have been an incredible co-host. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
Yeah, I will look. We'll definitely look forward to having you on in July as well. Like after the protest goes ahead or strike.
Hey, if I'm not in jail, I'm here. Honestly.
Do you know what? I thought you were going to say, if I'm not in jail, I'll be disappointed. I was like, oh, yeah, whoa, fight power.
It's weird. They're not coming for me anymore. It's we want to wrap the show up, I know. It's I was expecting something after phase 1, mate. There was nothing. They've not come for me at all. It's weird. And they let it go ahead. And the police were all really, really nice in all the locations. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Worrying.
Yeah.
I think you should go for merch. I think you should go for merch. I think you should do like, you should have like a side pro of your head. You know, like the Che Guevara t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be your merch. Go like full fucking resistance, man.
Maybe I could like maybe I could create like no, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to get myself in trouble. I was going to say maybe I could like reinvent the swastika or something, just change it up a little bit, make it look similar to it, but without it looking like it. But I'll come up with something.
If you've not seen our flag, we just took a leg off.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh my god.
But anyway, right, we're going to go. Thank you very much, mate. I look forward to speaking to you again. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. I didn't plug any of the wares apart from whinging about people complaining about stuff in the middle of the podcast. So if you would like to go and sponsor the Patreon, please go and do so. The links to our merch is in the description. We are at the Daily Con Pod on all of the social medias. You can email us at the Daily Conspiracy Podcast gmail.com. Obviously, don't put the at the beginning of it. I always do that with email addresses, you know. If it's
an old people thing.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely an old person thing. So yeah, just you fucking find us anyway. We're back tomorrow. Like if you think to yourself, oh, I forgot how I do any of those things, just listen to tomorrow's episode and get the links. It's fine. Other than that, bye.
Thank you.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military establishment. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief.